that boat.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Ryno.
Holy moly, Jim, that boat.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Ryno.
Sometimes when you take the show on the road, there can be a couple kinks. Sorry about that. Thanks for hanging in there with me. What's up? Court's in session. Audio okay? Going through the headphones? Let me know. Not going to be microphone quality like at home, but let me know if it sounds okay. Hope everybody's doing well. Tristan, what's going on, dude? Happy to have you here. Yo, what's up, David? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I do need to acknowledge that and put that on the screen. Ryan, did you lose your press pass? No, I did not. So we've got some other things that are in the works. So I will still be covering the team as of today. Yeah, sounds good. Awesome. Awesome. Telly, I don't know if you're here. No surprise, the Knicks go into Madison Square Garden South and knock off the San Antonio Spurs. Would you be surprised if I told you that Jalen Brunson has led the NBA postseason 3 seasons in a row in clutch points? 2023, 2024, 2025. 144 clutch points in the postseason. And something that I thought was going to be a big factor in this game was the Spurs and how much gas did they have in the tank. Grant said no. He didn't think it was going to be an issue. Jerry Reynolds said, yes, I do think it's going to be an issue. And guess what? It was an issue last night. When Brunson went out of that game, I'm thinking, that's it. Like, I'm getting off my number. Telly, hopefully you didn't get off your number and you stayed with it. I got off it. I'm like, that does not look good. Then he sprains the ankle, gets his foot stepped on, whatever you want to call it. And talk about a warrior. This Knicks team, you can't deny what they're doing. They have not lost in a couple of months now. But back to the San Antonio part, we saw the Wemby that was the Wemby of Game 5 last series. He couldn't get inside. Now, he could get by Towns occasionally. And by the way, Karl Anthony Towns, welcome to the freaking party as a defender. Are you kidding me? I did not think Cat would be that effective on Wemby. And yeah, Wemby still got some, but the Spurs got sped up. The Knicks sped them up in the clutch because the Knicks were fresh. You look at OG Anunoby, who barely did anything in the first 3 quarters. He comes up clutch with, I believe, 13 or 12 points in the fourth. I'm looking at the box right now. 12 points in the fourth quarter. And the Spurs, they tried. The Knicks put the bait out there for the Spurs to say, come play fast with us. And they took it, and they could not hang. So not a huge surprise that they dropped game 1. Game 2 is going to be a huge surprise to me if the Knicks are able to win Game 2 tomorrow, or excuse me, yeah, tomorrow. We don't have to wait a week in between games. And by the way, if you were that knucklehead that ran on the court, I have questions for you. His selfie has gone viral of him trying to, I don't know. But here's my question. Was that sponsored by a casino? Like, how many people put money on an idiot running on the court? You know, you can make a lot of money. If that's a prop, and I promise you it's a prop somewhere, you get a casino to say, we'll pay your legal expenses. We'll tip you in on this. Just do something silly to make sure that we can take credit for it behind the scenes. Yes, I am late because I am not in my studio. I know. Thank you very much. It sounds a little tinny, but loud and clear. Cool. Good enough. Headset enough. Good enough. Don't let anyone mess with you. You know what, David? I can trust you. I can't trust Tristan sometimes. The host is a wrestling tool. Yes, he is. He's a mark. The host. Who's the host? Have I met the host? What's up, Flores? Not quality sound, but it works, yeah. We're not going to go long today. I at least wanted to get up in here and talk about last night, talk about what you saw from last night. You've got the Stanley Cup Finals tonight as well. Really looking forward to that. I'm torn which way to go on that because Carolina historically bounces back after a loss, but this Vegas team has just been something different. Great question, Ryan. You ever make it up here to a Seahawks game? If you're going to go to a game this year, love to go with you or meet up and pregame. Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure if I'll make it up this year. I would love to if everything works out, but I have been to a Seahawks game. We went to the Niners and the Seahawks a few years back and sat in the Hawks Nest. It was a really fun experience, and we were a little bit bent because it was supposed to be the Sunday night game. And then by about the third quarter, when we couldn't feel our extremities, we're like, we're so glad it was not the Sunday night game. Mike Brown has the Knicks running like a well-oiled machine. Yeah, look, they just keep coming at you. I'm not sure if you heard Cat last night. They had him wired for sound. And I just, for a guy like Cat, who has been mentioned amongst the quote-unquote superstars in this league, and that's debatable. I get we can debate that. But for a guy that's been mentioned in that light, to have his role reduced from a scoring point, like Mike Brown had it, and then to reintegrate Cat, basically, and I talked about it last week, Jerry Reynolds hit the nail on the head yesterday, that Mike Brown's using Cat much as Mike Brown was using Domantas Sabonis. It's exactly right. And for him to really kind of embrace that role, now I'm tired of the crying, the bitching. He needs to get off that. This is the playoffs. You saw him do that a little bit yesterday. But for him to embrace that role, and they had him wired in a timeout, and it was in the first half, and he's like, guys, if we just keep playing our defense, like the offense is going to come. Don't worry. Like he's savoring the role, and he's freaking killing it. Josh Hart can't make a three, but can grab 15 rebounds. It's the Knicks formula. So I think this one's going 7. After seeing last night, because the Spurs will bounce back. And here's the key. Jalen Brunson is banged up. So last night worked in favor of the Knicks because they've had rest. But it's a double-edged sword with a quick turnaround on Friday because the Knicks have had rest. They hadn't played a game, and I forget what Mike Breen said. It had been like 12 days, and maybe even more than that. I think they said they had played 2 games in 20-some days. So bouncing back from a game like that, where are they going to be? Are they going to be sore? Are they going to be a little more fatigued than they would have been in the regular season with 1 day off? The Spurs, my guess is they're going to be right back at it. They're conditioned. They have not had a break. And then all eyes again turn to Brunson. Is that knee, is that ankle going to be an issue? But if you get shooting like you did from Shamit, if you get shooting and production like you did from Alvarado, and even Cat to a degree, they have the ingredients. If Karl Anthony Towns can play Wemby, and it's actually smart because they're pulling Wemby out. And usually when you play against Wemby, or at least we've seen that in the playoffs so far, there's like this 1 or 2 game feeling out process where it's like, you know what, I think I can get my shot by him. You can't, right? And so teams start to realize and pull that back and make better decisions, spray the ball out. You saw that a little bit from the Knicks last night where they thought they could get a couple things by him. He almost had a block from under the backboard, which was insane. So I think it was Jefferson last night that made the point. You've got to get the ball on the glass quickly. It's an excellent point by him. But pulling him, Wemby, out of the paint opens things up a little bit. I'm not convinced. Last night was a perfect 10 out of 10 for the most part for Cat defending, and even OG Anunoby to a degree, defending Victor Wembanyama, but I am not convinced Cat can do that without fouling for 6 more games, because that's been kind of the hit on him. So we'll see. What were you? Has your opinion changed on this series? Is Jalen Brunson like competing? Okay. Would you rather have Jalen Brunson or SGA? If you had a draft today, would you take Jalen Brunson or SGA? We have to ask that question now. This guy's going to be the godfather in New York. He took a reduced salary so the Knicks could get some more pieces. This guy's never going to pay for a dinner or a drink again in Manhattan. Any chance you see the clip of KG and other ex-players say the Kings are a finals farm system? No, but it's low-hanging fruit. Great. I could say that about many other teams. You could say that about the Clippers with SGA. And, well, maybe not to the same degree. SGA and the Thunder, Dallas, Brunson. I don't know. I'm not big on that kind of stuff. Low-hanging fruit. Big Purr. Yeah, there's a big dog hanging around somewhere. He's like 100 pounds. He might make his way into here. The New York Knickerhausens. See, now the wrestling's getting a little bit out of hand. I, too, am a well-oiled machine. Okay. You're going to do this on a day where I don't have my sound drops? I'm not going with P. Diddy smack on this show. Okay? We're not going there. Even Haunted Horse didn't go there. Spurs are not going to bounce back. They are going to be bounced. I think they'll bounce back. I do. They will beat the Knicks tomorrow. But going into MSG, where I saw the cheapest ticket right now, I screenshotted it earlier today. The cheapest ticket to get into that building is screen roll. Oh, it did not. Where'd it go? I had it. It's like $7,000 or $8,000. It's going to be an insane going out there. They took over the building last night. I actually sent a thing to Romy today. I said, the best adjustment the Spurs could make is the AC against the Knicks in Game 2. Just turn the AC off like you did against LeBron. See what happens. Ryan, do you have more confidence in Perry knowing he played a big role in going all in on – look, I've seen both sides of this. I've heard both sides of this. There's one side of the conversation that says Scott Perry played a big role, and there's another side of the conversation that says, no, he really didn't play a role. He wasn't the GM. Like I don't know. I have confidence in what Scott Perry's done in the draft. I can't say the same when it comes to trades, but let's put it this way. I don't feel terrible about the Doug and Scott combination right now. I don't feel awful about it. It's not great. It's not ideal, but I don't feel awful about it. The big thing that I think is hanging over my head, which I mentioned earlier this week, is has Vivek Ranadive given any autonomy to Scott Perry? Any whatsoever. Because you cannot have the owner, and Jerry Reynolds thinks Sabonis will be here to start the season. I do not, but you cannot have this owner step in and make another terrible decision for the franchise. With 2 decisions, he has ran the franchise into the freaking ground. The Fox trade, which, by the way, De'Aaron played awful last night. He's got to be better. National media is already chumming that water because his extension does not go into effect until, I believe, next week or the week after. And Harper, I mean, Mitch Johnson's getting skewered today for that, by the way, not having Harper in at the end. But I think those guys were just gassed. But De'Aaron Fox cannot start that game shooting threes the way that he started. You just can't do it. He's got to start the game going inside and play inside out. Because when he sees the ball go through the hoop and he attacks, it either opens up something for his teammates or it gets him going, gets his shot going. But he's got to be a lot better. You can't have Vivek Ranadive do what he did with De'Aaron Fox and Mike Brown. You just can't. And I'm not saying that because I've been saying that for a year and a half now, regardless of the Kings being, as somebody put earlier, an NBA Finals franchise. Or what was it? An NBA Finals, like, franchise, like, producer or something like that. You can't have the unilateral decisions, especially if you're looking at dealing Sabonis. So Nooch will be here tomorrow for a little bit, as long as the internet is working in parts unknown. Brunson, man, he has been a different animal. JB, yes, indeed. Opinion on series has not changed. Knicks won the NBA Cup, and they are here to win the NBA championship. It'll be just bonkers if that team wins. If New York wins their championship, it will be bonkers. Although, was anybody else surprised at how small Ben Stiller is in person? Like, you actually got a really good gauge on his height. He is a tiny little man. He is small, but he's funny. And he's coming out with another Fockers movie. Yes, I said that carefully. Focker-in-law. I'm there for it. I love those movies. Those are pretty good. Haven't seen the classics, but I have seen all of those. Brunson, better playmaker, has the ability to make others better. I don't see that with SGA or Anthony. You know, I got to agree with you, because you can't make the argument that SGA doesn't have the guys around him. He does. You could actually make the argument he's got a better group around him, shooters-wise, than the Knicks and Jalen Brunson. Ryan, Gary V was going to the game, flying in from New York, and the plane was 3 hours delayed and canceled, lost thousands of bucks on his tickets that he didn't get to use. Yeah, Adam Silver, by the way, dropped the hammer on that kid that ran on the court yesterday. Stupid. For what? Social media? What are we doing? Got an ESPN invite for a World Cup bracket. Should we create a group for the channel? Hey, Peter, if you want to take the lead on that, I am more than happy to promote it. Although I am probably going to let my son fill it out because I do not know much about soccer, and those are the people that usually win those brackets. So, Knicks Brunson Dynasty, that's a new name. I like it. I like it a lot. So, hockey tonight. Which way are you going? I am split on this one. I really am. Vegas has just been different. There was this little joke going around. We were doing the radio show that, we jinxed George McPhee in the Vegas Golden Knights because he came on the show and they went on a massive losing streak, and they fired the coach, and then they got right. So it's like, did we jinx them or did we do them a favor? But they have been incredible with Tortorella since then. I just like the way that they play hockey. I think they are a little bit of the kryptonite to Carolina's style, but can you see Carolina going down 2-0 at home? I mean, Vegas is probably the only team that I could see doing that to them. But then it's Carolina. They were up on Vegas 2-0 halfway through the first period last game. So that one's going to be kicking off here in about 90 minutes. I will be watching that. Grant will be back tonight. Join him for a little bit of open forum. And then we're back tomorrow night for NBA Finals post game. So looking forward to getting on with him and all of you after the game tomorrow night. I don't think tomorrow night's game is going to be as good as last night's game. I just don't. I think the Spurs are going to come out, and I could even see it possibly being a wire-to-wire victory. But I have been wrong before. Stoked that the Knicks won. I understand being asked after a game 6 or game 7, but game 1, no way these guys are in better shape than that. Mitch Johnson, I'm going to say that I did not agree with some of his substitution patterns last night, especially at the end of the game, and he's getting some for that today. But to see a new opponent when you've been playing the same opponent for 7 games, yeah, they're in really good shape, but it's just a different animal. If a team, it can either be a blessing or it can be a curse if a team has been off for a while. It can be a curse because they can be rusty, but the blessing is always in the rest. And the Knicks have swept 2 straight series. So they have had a ton of rest. And so when you get down the stretch of a game, and those guys, especially a Wemby, and Jerry said it yesterday, he does worry about Wemby playing extended minutes like this because he didn't play him in the regular season. So, yeah, they're in the best shape of anybody in the world, but at the same time, that physical grind, I wish I had my sound drops. That would have been Adam Silver saying that grind, when you get to the third quarter and the fourth quarter, you can be in shape, but can you be in shape and be composed? And the Spurs were not composed. They were throwing the basketball everywhere. Look at the turnovers. They had 5 turnovers in the fourth quarter. The Knicks had 0. So that was a big part of the game as well. It was so seedy yesterday when they put Adam Silver and his cronies on screen. They're all giggling. That was so ridiculous. Oh, my gosh. A short show? Bull crap. Yeah, we'll go for a little bit. What did everybody think about Jerry Reynolds yesterday? Did anything he say make you think differently? We talked a lot about Kingston Flemings and Darius Acuff. He had some really high comps for Darius Acuff. It's going to be interesting. I mean, we can break it down. He said it perfectly. We could break down all of them, but a couple of them might not be on the floor or be on the board. I don't think Acuff will be on the board. I wish I would have asked Jerry if he thought the Kings would trade up, because that's been going around in the media, or if he thought that was in their best interest. We'll hit that next week with him on Wednesday. But I don't think it's worth trading up, and I just don't think he's going to be there. So as we get closer to the draft, we'll learn more, but you know these processes. It's liar's dice. You don't know if a team really wants a guy, doesn't want a guy, trying to throw you off the scent and all that. Thought the refs did a really good job last night. Did not have an issue. Although Scott Foster, he's got to do his little posturing like he always does. But thought that was really good. But was it okay for everybody? Was it all right seeing Foxy in the finals and Mike Brown in the finals? It wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be, right? I mean, how can you not be happy for Mike Brown? I've said it for a minute. This dude's got a set on him to go from working for Vivek Ranadive and having guaranteed money coming his way to going to work for James Dolan, where it's championship or bust. It's incredible when you put on the film of the Beam team. If you watch a highlight of later in the season when that offense was really humming, this Knicks offense is so similar. And Mike has made that adjustment using Cat as Domas, and Brunson, a much better Fox. It's credit to him. It's working out for him. I think Mike has secured himself another year in New York, whether they win the finals or not. Garbage truck passing by. Do you think Brunson's words to the ref after the game will affect future games? Probably not. You know, that there is an investigation by the NBA right now going on when it comes to Jalen Brunson. Apparently, a fan said some stuff that you shouldn't say, as we call it, the magic word. So the NBA is investigating that. Fan gets lifetime ban, which we talked about, for running on the court. But the NBA is investigating an altercation between New York Knicks star Jalen Brunson and courtside fans late in the fourth quarter. Brunson appeared to be upset with some courtside fans while teammate OG Anunoby was taking a pair of free throws with 29.4 seconds left remaining Wednesday in New York's 105-95 win. That's the other thing, too. The Knicks have won all of these games by double digits. It's crazy what they're doing. Competition was not as strong as in the Western Conference, but credit to them. With Dolan in the finals, maybe there's some hope in Sacramento. You know, with the Kings, I've talked about a couple different scenarios. Like I think there's 3 lifeboats, maybe 4, for this to work out with Vivek Ranadive as the owner, acting the way he has through the last 2 big transactions, which were De'Aaron Fox and Mike Brown. So if he continues to do that, if he gives Sabonis up for peanuts, I mean, what are you going to do? Because he wants, there's a player he's always wanted. Vivek's going to Vivek. But your lifeboats are, he sells the team, which, why would he? Nobody can force him to sell. I think your second lifeboat is you hit in the draft, like you find that guy in the draft that the Kings have never had, and it's that guy who's that good that you really can't screw things up on the floor if you have some decent pieces already around them, to where like you can't fight City Hall if the team is on the verge of something great. Your hand's going to be kind of forced if you're Vivek. And then the last is you get somebody, and I am not suggesting the Kings need to get another GM right now, but you need somebody in that building that can play the game better than Vivek Ranadive. They've got to be able to play it better than Vivek Ranadive. Either an individual or a coach and a GM that basically walk through the facility and to Vivek's office like it's a 3-legged race. Like the 2 don't speak to Vivek individually. Like everything is through the 2 of them together. You're not taking that 10 o'clock phone call. And think about how hard that would be. I mean, Bobby Marks said, last postseason that he asked somebody in the know with Vivek if Vivek could go away on an island for 2 years and be guaranteed the Kings would be a playoff team, but he could have no involvement, would he do it? And they're like, no. Nope, would not happen. So, Bobby Marks, not me, but you've got a couple of lifeboats. Maybe you hit that player. Maybe down the road you have somebody, and who knows? Maybe Scott Perry is playing the game better than anybody else has played it with Vivek. Just wait until we see the Tony Brothers effect. Can't be more cringe than Scott Foster. Vivek seems like he would trade for James Harden. Oh my gosh. You know what? I bet you're not even aware of the moment during the Cleveland game when James Harden ripped the Kings' heart out, and Vivek was sitting there with Travis Scott, and they start celebrating, and Vivek's just standing there smiling. That was bad. You probably had no idea about that horse, but yes, that happened this year. Back in 2016, things were bleak for the Knicks. Who knows? Yeah, Perry was on the staff, by the way, but it was more collateral damage from Phil Jackson and Steve Mills. Very true. Very true. Yeah, you think? He's not bad, huh? He's not bad. I mean, it would be one of the greatest stories of all time. The guy that was not first, second, third, fourth on the list for the Knicks to take a job where you knew championship or bust and to do what he's done with them, incredible. It's absolutely incredible. But they've got to close it out. That's what they have to do. They have to close it out. Now you got me thinking about like James Harden and just a ridiculous trade that could happen for Sabonis. I mean, there's a couple routes with Domas. I don't think you're going to get, or you're probably not looking to take back a lot of future money, but you also don't want to get nothing. I mean, you definitely need to get draft capital. That is most important. That's first and foremost. You've got to, and I don't think enough people look at this, and you got to give credit to the Eagles, who ended up taking the Patriots 2028 first round pick instead of this draft's first round pick for A.J. Brown or next drafts, because the Eagles are thinking, well, parity in football. Somebody said this, and it made a lot of sense. Parity in football, guys can get injured. You know, the Patriots, all likelihood, will probably be decent this season. So the draft pick's not going to be that good. But what about 2028? What if something happens? What if they fall off, you know? And it's a high pick because nothing's protected in the NFL. So, like, I guess what I'm saying is all first-round picks are not the same. All first-round picks are not equal, because a first-round pick from the Thunder is not as good as a first-round pick from the Kings, etc. So, the sooner the Kings tear it all down and start the rebuild, sooner the winning can begin. I mean, you're pretty well torn down right now. You can't. You're not all the way torn down. I think the full teardown starts when Zach LaVine's money comes off the books. That's when the teardown starts. We'll see. So there's really one realistic scenario, which is draft somebody. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I just don't know what would change the owner. You know, there's not a ton that you can do. You've got to like okay, a perfect example is the Beam team where it just comes together, right? It's kind of a perfect example. There was not like super high expectations for that team, and if it all comes together, it's working. You've got a GM in there. Maybe that gives the GM a little bit more power, but the second that you start to regress, that's when the pressure gets turned up, and that's when you saw just panic trades. But it should be interesting to see what San Antonio does with Fox. I don't think they're in any hurry to get him out because as they sit right now, they are 100% ahead of schedule with what they were probably thinking when they extended him, especially if they were to get a championship this year. But depending on what else is on the market, if the Spurs fall short, that's a position that's expendable for the Spurs. Dylan Harper is so far beyond where Steph Castle was his rookie year. It's going to be scary to see where Dylan Harper is this time next year if the Spurs are still playing. And so those are direct minutes that, Fox is competing for. Fox is starting over Dylan Harper. So do the Spurs? Can they? I mean, that's a lot of money owed to De'Aaron Fox. I thought it was too much money. I was shocked that they went there for 4 years, but we'll see. I mean, also you can't project. I mean, they thought Harper was going to be good. I don't think they thought he was going to be this good. What is the link? Let me put it in for you. Mac's going to give us a call. Give us a call, Mac. Oh, you see Haunted Horse? I'm using this thing called a MacBook, which means I can't right click, but it's still a much better device than PC. Just letting you know, Horse. All right, Matt, there's the link for you, brother. If you would like to call the show, do you think the Spurs would do Fox for Levine? No. Well, no. I don't think De'Aaron Fox is coming back to Sacramento. What would be the point of that? That would not make a lot of sense. I don't think the Kings would do Fox for Levine. Spurs would probably be more open to it than the Kings because the money coming off the books. All right, let's go to the phones. Mac, what's up, dude?
Hey, how are you?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Hey, I kind of wanted to talk about something that's very current, but it's football related. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So, have you been keeping up with the Senate review of the NCAA and what Pete Bevilacqua from Notre Dame is suggesting?
No, well, I know about the Senate. I don't know what has been suggested by Notre Dame.
So he went in. He was part of the hearing. He was one of the people called forward, and suggesting a super league of 34 teams such as Penn State, Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame. And I'm almost like so like obviously I hate that, but I'm almost at the point, Ryan, where this is such a joke. The kids, I mean, can do these players do they really even go to class? I mean, one player from the 49ers who just got drafted and whose name's skipping my name. He went to college for 6 years and went to 6 different schools. So I
Yeah,
mean, like, can we maybe the best solution at this point is to have that super league, let them call themselves professionals. Let's stop dropping the gimmick. I mean, Ohio State spent $40 million. Yeah, great. Signetti is being called a great coach, but he also outspent everybody with $42 million last year. And then we can also have, and then the rest of the teams can be college football, and it could be regional, and they could call themselves amateurs again, and we can see maybe Dukes, the Wisconsin, Michigan States, and they can be the amateur, and that could be the amateur league. But I mean, at this point, really, why do we even call it college sport. These guys, they're not going. I, I don't think they even really go to class, do they? I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
and they're leaving after 2 years to go to the NFL. So, being a student athlete really isn't on their mind, and it's not on the university mind. And one last thing is, what I want to know is, how do people in Ohio State is a state institution, right? It's ran by um, state money, and state taxes. How do you feel bringing in all these people that are not inside your state and paying for that, and paying for all these just like, how is that even justified in the Ohio legislature? You know what I mean? So anyway, I'll turn it to you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hey, Mac, I'm going to take it off the air just
All right, see you
because
later.
my headsets are kind of ringing. Thanks, Mac. Good topic. Good question. As for the legislature and Ohio State, they're not involved because it's the boosters that are pouring in this money. You can't stop people from donating if they want to. I mean, we were talking about people so rich that they have to donate to not be taxed. That's the brackets that we're talking about. And then people that leave their estates and trusts to universities and the athletic funds. That's how buildings get built, named after, family or whatever. So when it comes to being a public institution and the legislature stepping in, unless you are taking all the money and jacking tuition up, they're not. So as for a super conference, I don't know. It feels odd that you would separate. You're not really a conference. So, okay, if you're going to call them professionals, then now you're competing with the NBA, you're competing with the NFL. And then I think it would hurt the product if you separated some of the smaller schools and said, oh, this is college football, they're amateurs. You're basically reducing the size of college football. What bugs me the most about this subject is the NCAA. Shame on you, NCAA. And it's not just one person at the NCAA. It's been historical. You've had boob after boob after boob after dork after schmuck after dork chair the NCAA. And they always want to look away when there's a massive problem in the sport. When COVID happened, you opened the floodgates because you wanted to stimulate sport again. So, you know what? You can transfer anywhere. They wanted to make sure there was incentive for kids that maybe did not want to get back into sport that soon because of COVID. It's almost like they put together a list of how could we best ruin college sports? Like, what are the top things we could do to ruin college sports? And by the way, what are the top things that we've always been against? Let's, you know what? Those lists aren't mutually exclusive. Why don't we do that? And that's what they did. The transfer portal stuff, NIL, I don't have a problem with. That was coming. That was inevitable. Started with the Ed O'Bannon lawsuit, with the video game. College basketball was like, I think, an EA Sports game back in 99 or 98. But besides that, whenever you need somebody who is the NCAA in charge of college sports to have a freaking backbone and do something, they don't. But every time you need them or you don't need them involved in something, they get involved in it. And they spend millions of dollars on investigations, money that should be going to institutions, but instead is going to lawyers talking about 156-page filings about why it's okay to give players butter with their bagels, but it's an improper benefit to give them peanut butter with their bagels. Like, that's silly. And so the fact that they want to hop back in the picture, hop back out of the picture, and it's come to this, they're a joke. The NCAA needs to be eliminated altogether, done with. All they are de facto property managers. They negotiate television deals. Don't tell me the power conferences could not negotiate their own deals. They can. Power conferences are already, by the way, punishing players. And then the NCAA comes back around and says, okay, we'll put our stamp on that. Or the conference will punish the players and or coaches. And 2 years later, the NCAA comes around doing an investigation, a show cause, and says, oh, well, you know what, John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh, you have a show cause now. If you ever come back to college for so many years and this person, what are we doing? Again, money that could have gone back to the institution. So as far as the Senate or government getting involved, I don't want to turn this into a political show. The president presented something about a one transfer rule. I think it's brilliant. I think that makes all the sense in the world. You get one transfer where you don't have to sit out all that extended time, a year. You don't have to lose a year of eligibility. You get one. If you need more than one, you need to petition, or you need to let us know why you need more than one. And I think all of that should be held by the conferences, the power. That should be at the conference level. Get rid of the NCAA. There was already an argument. The NCAA violates just the entity itself being in existence, violates federal antitrust law. So it's not going to be slow, or it's not going to be fast, but this is the right time to get rid of them. Get them out of the picture. They're knuckleheads. They're imbeciles. And they have ruined college sport. I mean, they've held it back. They've ruined it. Everything they put into place during COVID. This is now the Wild West. You are at a point. One of my friends that I went to college with, he is still on the coaching staff at San Diego State. He said he's as much as a fundraiser now as a college basketball coach. Think about that. Like, he's literally a salesman and a fundraiser to retain their own players. That's insane. You're a state-paid employee as a basketball coach, which is an amazing gig, and you're spending all your time fundraising. Not to improve the program, not to go get new players, to keep your players. That's how broken this system is. Coaches don't coach anymore. And some of these coaches saw it coming. Whether you like him or not, Saban, he didn't want to be a part of it. Like, it's just it's worse than pro sports. Think about that. It is like what's going on behind the scenes is more out of control and worse than pro sports. It's going to come down to a collective bargaining agreement between the players and the universities. That's going to have to get done at some point. And so to Mac's point, I mean, I'm not big on, they're amateurs, or, I don't care what you want to title them. I think there's still something extremely sexy about college football, the ambiance, the student sections, the bands, the tailgate, the tradition. I mean, stadiums that in some cases have more than 100,000 people in them for games. Pro football will never have that. It won't. So I just don't want to lose those things. And as for the last thing, Mac, about do guys go to class, it's been, I can't speak for every player in every university, but there are a lot of cases where guys never step on campus to go to a class. Everything is online. And the only time they step on campus is to play a game or go to the athletic center. And so, and that is both for the athletes' protection and then also the school wanting to protect their assets as well. So, and then you throw gambling into the entire mix. Sucks that the same teams win every year. Certain teams that have historical ties to football, like Michigan State or Wisconsin, have no shot every year. Super League with a cap brings evenness. It just changes too much. I mean, I can't say yes or no, Max. I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but you know what I'm in favor of? I'm in favor of anything that gets rid of the NCAA. That's what I'm in favor of. If that means you get rid of the NCAA, heck yeah, let's do it. But it's fun watching the same 7 teams. See, I think there's more parity in college than that. You've seen Alabama come up and down. You've seen some teams make runs. I'm not going to say Michigan. Well, okay. Wisconsin, they'll have a chance. It's just what hurts it, again, is what Max said about a player for the Niners that did 6 years in college. Credit to him for hopefully getting his degree, and then went to 6 different schools. How do the transfer offices and the registrar even figure that out? If you take classes at a state school here in California, some of them aren't going to translate to a UC. It's like, what kind of education is that? And I know the education is the last thing that most people think about, but the reality is, like, only 1% of these guys are going to play pro. And of that 1%, a micro percent are going to make tons of money. It's insane. Like the 80s when Hulk Hogan was the champion for like years without competing. Was he for years without competing? Interesting. But the gist of it, the NCAA is nothing good about them. Nothing good whatsoever. Don't forget, Napes back tonight, 7 o'clock. Make sure that you join him. If you want to join me on Prize Picks, love to have you. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I am going to be very sad when the basketball season ends. But if you are a fantasy person, if you love and enjoy basketball, football, baseball at a different level, like you think you understand it just a little bit more than the next person, take me up on this with Prize Picks. It's America's #1 daily fantasy site. Use promo code Ryno50, get $50 in free play after you play your first $5 lineup. What do you mean, Ryno? Lineups? It's not a daily revolving lineup. You can pick different guys every day. In fact, you can pick different sports all in the same lineup. You pick 2 to 6 players, choose more or less on their projections, and that's it. And that's what's cool. You're not playing against 1,000 other people for the top prize. You're not playing against sharks in Vegas. Well, you're kind of playing against a shark and me. Just saying. Prize Picks has been good. It's been good. You're playing against the stats. So that's what's really cool about it. Go check them out. Prize Picks. Download the app. Use code Ryno50. $50 in free play. Straight up after your first $5 play. So tonight I am going Vegas with my Prize Pick. I am going Vegas plus 1.5 goals. How about that? More than 1.5 goals. Or Vegas can lose by more than 1.5 goals. Uh-oh. Here comes the dog. Door-to-door salesman. No, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. Hold on. Trying to do a radio show here. Streaming show. Come on. Dude, this is so great. The dog is not barking. I am shocked. It's because he's getting older. That's what it's got to be. He's right there, too. Bye. Bye. Is there a tougher gig than door-to-door sales? As much as it's annoying, I feel for him too. Oh, you saw a reflection? I know. Vegas is getting a goal and a half. That's insane to me. It takes a unique individual to do door-to-door sales. As much as it just like, it's like the seediest thing to be doing it, like I also give them credit. Like nobody wants to see you. Half the people have no trespassing on their houses, and then they'll say, "Oh, well, it's not trespassing because we were here to offer you something." They've got their different things. Like one of my favorite things. It was one of my favorite things is when they talk to your neighbor before they talk to you, and the neighbor shuts them down. Because like sometimes our neighbors will text each other and be like, "Hey, in the neighborhood," just so they know. But before they get away from the neighbor, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry. What was your name?" "Oh, Patty." "Okay, thanks, Patty. Sorry for bugging you, Patty." And then they come to your door and they're like, "Hey, what's up? I was just at Patty's for like 10 minutes and she loves what we're doing. She absolutely loves it. You got to check this out. Patty is enrolling and buying 13 of these," right? Like, okay. But I do have one thing that's worse than the door-to-door salesman. There is one worse job and one group of people that are more hounding and relentless. Like they chase after you. And I really hope I don't offend somebody here if this is your job. But if it is your job, go get another job. You need to get another job. It's the mall kiosk group. And I'm not talking about like every mall kiosk. I am talking about the ones that have the shoe cleaner. The shoe cleaner people in the mall that chase after you. You give them no objection, no, another objection. They've got 5 different ones for you. And they're following you through the mall to clean your shoes and get you to buy that stuff. They're the most aggressive ones. In fact, I have found out which corner of the mall they're at Arden, and it's actually, unfortunately, by the Tesla chargers. So I will actually charge and then drive away to the other corner of the mall. Because if you're wearing Air Force Ones, if you are wearing anything of a basketball shoe sneaker, I mean, they are up your hiney. You even hit them with this. I've hit them with this before, where I'm like, "Oh, I've already got some." And by the way, I used to look for these people at the state fair. When we'd go to the state fair when I was like in high school and junior high, that was like a staple. You had to get a bag of that stuff. But they didn't chase after you at the state fair. Now you tell them, "Oh, I've already got this stuff." They're like, "Oh, you didn't get this product. Well, you're probably going to run out of this. This is the newer one." It's like, no, leave me alone. And the worst part is most of my Air Force Ones, which is kind of my go-to shoe right now, they're white. So that's screaming at them. Like they can't let you walk by without getting that pair of shoes clean. Adam says $20. Haven't been in a mall in about 15 years. Yeah, Amazon. Uh, I'll bet I can get where you got your shoes, Ryno. Maybe. Where did I get my shoes? I tagged along door to door recently. Wow. And most don't answer, even when you can see or hear them. I don't blame them. Why'd you tag along? No offense, if that's your thing, cool. Kill it, Daniel. But like, mm-mm. No, 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 no. Nope. Can't do it. Won't do it. TV on in the background for cartoons? No, it should be ESPN. Yeah, that's hockey. It's hockey. It's worse than shopping cart ads. No, you know the one group that I do feel for though? Door-to-door salesmen don't have to do long division, however. Because then you've got the group that are like, oh, I'm here with whatever the company is, but they're not working directly for the company. Because that's what my wife will do. Oh, you're with Comcast? Can I see it? Did you have a card? And they don't, well, I'm kind of here with Comcast, whatever. But I do feel for car salesmen. Like, we went to drop the car off just to get servicing, and I followed the wife there so we could go out and kind of drive around in Lodi for the day. And oh my gosh, like 5 or 6 of them all at once come up and want to talk to you. They act like they're interested in your car. Oh man, that's a cool car. I'm like, dude, service. We're here to pick somebody up. So, oh no, it's okay. The A's winning today. I don't know because I'm just wearing the hat because it says Sacktown on the side of it. Like, oh my goodness. Got in line around 4 a.m. and got the last in my size. Followed a UPS guy in. What pair, BJ? Interesting. Oh, dude. Okay, BJ. You bring up a good point. It was not safe back in the day to like go line up for Jordans. Like Florin Mall at the Foot Locker trying to get the J's. Yeah, that was sketch. For sure. Super sketch. By the way, enjoy Boise, BJ. Love Boise. If you need some recommendations on where to go, BJ, Bardenay for dinner. Go check them out. Where else? Bardenay's is really good, but there's a lot of good stuff. I love what Boise's done downtown there. Love Boise. Keegan, number 7, plus first-round pick for Harper. They would never do it. They wouldn't do it. Mitch Johnson has already said that he is Dylan Harper, the smartest, best guard he's ever been around. That's a pretty big statement. I want to give that to you exactly because they said it on the broadcast. Harper, best guard I've been around. Mitch Johnson. I don't want to paraphrase that one. Oh, okay. Johnson said he is as talented as any guard that he's ever been around. They already have a big 3. They have a legit big 3. One of them's a rookie. The other one's a sophomore, and the other one's a third year. It's insane. One lady even started telling us we shouldn't advertise online. Like, that's funny. That's funny. Did you know about the interweb? Interesting. Was it one of those businesses, Daniel, where they're like, oh, I'm here on behalf of the Oakland A's, and we've got a ticket pack for you. You know, you can get your own little mini suite, and you can go to these games that aren't blacked out. Has the vacuum salesman come back? No, they have not. We have a big, I don't know, it's an oak tree or something in our front yard. So sometimes the door-to-door salesmen or the religious groups will like congregate because we're a corner house, and like stand under the shade and plan their attack for the neighborhood. But no, they're not back. We are good. That's funny. Vacuum sales. I know somebody that sold vacuums. Yeah, Daniel, what were you hawking? Daniel, you can't say you're with a door-to-door salesman. Okay. Keegan Murray is not a bum. Can we reset our... Well, okay. What was he drafted? He was drafted third? Was Keegan a number 3? I think he was, but it wasn't a strong draft. Actually, no, I think it was a decent draft now that I'm thinking about it. Fourth. So Keegan was picked 4th. I think you're being unfair by saying still developing if you're applying that to his overall game, because every NBA player is always still developing. Offensively, yes, but the Kings have not done him any favors either when it comes to offensive development. Even if you think about the Beam team here, they didn't do him any favors by just putting him in the corner. Granted, broke the rookie record for threes that year. Defensively, if Keegan was playing in a different market, he would have votes as an all-defensive player. Guarantee it. Working at a 5-star hotel as someone who handles or hands out paper towels in the bathrooms. So I met somebody that works at, I'm not going to tell you which hotel. We're super informal today because we're on the road, but I talked to somebody that works at a hotel downtown, and he told me like the stuff that people will ask him for, the requests, because he's a concierge, like legal and illegal, is insane. And he was talking about some of the tips that he would get. Silly. Keegan would do good in San Antonio. I agree. Keegan would do really good in any type of offense that is a little bit more structured and moves the ball. If you throw Keegan into the New York Knicks offense, he would do excellent. You know why I know that? Because they're doing what the Beam team did right now. So, yeah, it's been kind of informal. 4th pick. If Keegan can remain healthy, how many guys who go about 6'9", 230 that can defend at a high... Yeah, exactly right. His defensive loan will keep him in the NBA for 13 years. He can guard 1 through 5. It's as valuable as you can get as a defender. Why don't the Kings go after Keegan, twin, to develop him? Chris Murray is not nearly as good, and he's not nearly as athletic. Not even close. Although they look like in the face, dead on, their bodies are actually very different in many ways. But, yeah. So, all right, I think we're going to wrap up. It's been a fun day. Got hockey coming up here in a little bit. We'll be back home tomorrow, finishing out the week. And we'll also have our wrestling segment with Adam and hopefully Nooch from Parts Unknown. Tomorrow night, don't forget, we're going to do a post-game show for the NBA Finals. Will we be talking about a 2-0 lead for the Knicks heading back to Madison Square Garden? We'll see. I think the Spurs probably even it up. But, yeah, we'll have that for you tomorrow after the game. And then don't forget tonight, Grant, he's back, 7 o'clock, open forum show. First off, I would like to thank my MacBook Pro for handling this show like a champ. He doesn't usually run the show. Yeah, Haunted Horse, did we have any tech issues today? I don't think so. Yeah, thank all of you. Fun conversation. Interesting conversation. All over the place. Door-to-door salesman. Oh, my gosh. NCAA. You know what? Okay. I take that back. There is something more unsavory than door-to-door sales, even though I respect them. And there will. Working for the NCAA. That's more unsavory. 100%. Finch, great show. Go Golden Knights all day. BJ, enjoy Boise, my man. Seriously, Bardenay, BJ, hit it up. Awesome stuff down there. All right, be well, y'all. Court is dismissed. We'll see you back tomorrow to wrap up the week here on the King's Court.